The mist in the trial arena thickened, swirling around Sergeant Mark Harris like a living cloud. The air grew colder, and strange whispers echoed softly, testing his resolve. The alien queen's voice rang out clearly. "Now, human, face your deepest fear." Harris stood firm. He had trained for years to face danger, but this was different. This was a battle not just of muscles but of mind and spirit. Suddenly, the mist shifted and parted. In front of him stood a dark figure, a shadowy version of himself, eyes glowing with cold light. It was a mirror of his fears, a symbol of doubt and failure. The shadow spoke in a voice that echoed inside Harris's mind. "You are alone. You will fail. Your people will be destroyed." Harris clenched his fists. He had felt this fear before, the fear of losing everything and everyone he cared about, but he refused to let it control him. "No," he said firmly. "I fight for those I love. I am not alone." The shadow lunged forward, and the battle began. Harris dodged the shadow's attacks, moving quickly and carefully. Each strike the shadow made was an attempt to break his spirit, to make him doubt himself. But Harris used every lesson he had learned in the army: focus, patience, and courage. He fought not just with his body, but with his heart and mind. With a final, powerful move, Harris pushed the shadow back into the mist. The dark figure faded away, and the arena grew bright once more. The alien queen watched silently. For the first time, she saw something more than a soldier. She saw a human with true strength. "You have faced your fear and won," she said softly. "This is rare among your kind." Harris nodded, breathing hard but steady. "Fear is part of being human, but we do not let it stop us." The queen stood and approached him, her expression serious. "You have passed the test of strength, but your journey is far from over." She gestured to a large door that slowly opened, revealing a path lit by strange blue lights. "Walk this path, human. It will lead you to the next trial, one of trust and honor." Without hesitation, Harris stepped forward. He was tired but determined. Every test brought him closer to understanding the alien queen and her people. And maybe, just maybe, closer to peace. As he walked down the glowing path, the queen's voice followed him. "Remember, strength is not just power. It is the courage to face what others cannot." Outside the arena, the queen's advisors whispered among themselves, surprised and uneasy. The human soldier was changing everything they thought they knew. The days after the battle were quiet but full of change. Mark's side hurt, but his spirit was strong. Lyra stayed close, watching him with worried eyes. Something in her had changed too. She seemed calmer, yet more serious. One morning, while Mark helped repair the damaged communication system, Lyra called him over. She pointed to her stomach, then to him, and then placed her hand over her heart. Mark frowned. "What is it, Lyra?" She looked at him with a soft smile, her green eyes shining. Then she said slowly, "Child." Mark froze. His mind raced. A child? How was this possible? They had only just met, but looking at Lyra's face, he knew she was serious. He sat down carefully beside her. You're carrying my child." Lyra nodded gently. "Yes, it is new. It is life." Mark's heart pounded. The thought was overwhelming. An alien and a human, together like this. But in that moment, all his fears melted away. He felt a new kind of hope, strong and bright. "We have to protect you both," Mark said firmly. "No matter what." Lyra reached out and held his hand tightly. "Together," she said. Over the next days, Mark learned more about Lyra's body and the child growing inside her. Her species was different. Her healing was fast, and she had strength humans did not understand. But the child was part human and part alien. It was a new life, something neither species had seen before. Mark felt a deep connection to this new family. He thought about Earth, his home, and wondered what the future would hold for them all. He wanted to protect Lyra and the child from the dangers around them, and from the fear of people who might not understand. But Mark also knew the journey ahead would not be easy. The enemies who hunted Lyra would not stop. The child was a symbol of hope and a target. One evening, as the twin moons rose in the sky, Mark and Lyra sat together outside the camp. The air was cool and quiet. Lyra looked at Mark and smiled softly. "Family is new to me, but with you, I feel safe." Mark smiled back, feeling the truth of her words. "We will face this together. We will be a family." They sat quietly, watching the stars. For the first time in a long while, Mark felt peace. No matter what the future held, he would not be alone. The injured alien woman he had carried to safety had become something far more: his family. And soon, they would have a child to call their own. Alex was a human engineer working on a space station far from Earth. The station orbited a strange planet called Varelia. It was an important place because many different alien species came here to talk and trade. Alex's job was to fix machines and keep the station working well. One day, Alex was called to fix a broken communications console in the main hall. He walked carefully through the busy station, watching the many kinds of aliens around him. Some had bright colors, some had many arms, and some looked very different from anything Alex had ever seen. But Alex was used to this. He had worked here for many months now. When Alex reached the console, he saw that the screen was dark. He pulled out his tools and started working. Suddenly, he felt someone watching him. He looked up and saw a tall, graceful alien woman standing nearby. She had shining blue skin and bright green eyes that seemed to glow softly. Her name tag said, Lyra. Lyra was from a powerful alien group called the Viridians. They were known for their wisdom and strength. Alex had heard about them, but never met one before. He felt a little nervous but smiled politely. "Hello, I'm Alex. I'm here to fix this console." Lyra nodded. Her voice was soft but strong. "I am Lyra. This console is very important. It helps us talk to our home world. Please be careful." Alex smiled again. "Don't worry. I'm good at fixing things." He worked quickly but carefully. As he worked, he noticed Lyra watching him closely, her eyes full of curiosity. After a few minutes, the console beeped and the screen lit up. Alex stood up and tested it. "It's working now." Lyra smiled, showing a small, rare expression of warmth. "Thank you, Alex. You are skilled." They stood there, looking at each other. Alex felt something strange, a feeling he did not understand. Lyra seemed to feel it too. But before either of them could say more, an alarm sounded in the station. "Attention," a voice announced. "There is a problem in the cargo bay. All personnel, please respond." Alex and Lyra both looked toward the direction of the alarm. Alex's job was never easy, and he guessed the problem might be serious. "Will you be all right?" Lyra asked, her voice now full of concern. Alex smiled. "I will. You should be careful too." Lyra nodded and quickly left to help with the emergency. Alex watched her go, his heart beating faster. He had just met a mysterious alien woman who was different from anyone he had known before. Something told him this meeting was only the beginning of a much bigger story. As Alex packed his tools and followed the sound of the alarm, he wondered what was waiting for him in the days ahead. Would he see Lyra again? And if so, what would happen between them? The space station around them was alive with noise and tension. But in that moment, between two very different beings, a small spark of connection had been made. After the alarm in the cargo bay was over, Alex returned to his usual work. But he could not stop thinking about Lyra. She was different from anyone he had ever met, not just because she was an alien, but because she seemed curious about him too. He wondered what her life was like, and if she felt as alone in this big space station as he sometimes did. The next day, Alex saw Lyra again near the main hall. This time, she smiled as he approached. "Alex, I would like to learn more about your work, she said in clear, careful English. Alex was surprised but happy. Sure, I can show you. Maybe you can teach me about your people too. Lyra nodded. That would be good. Our cultures are very different. But maybe we can understand each other. They went to a quiet room filled with machines and tools. Alex showed her how he fixed small robots and consoles. Lyra watched carefully and asked many questions. Her bright green eyes shone with interest. It is strange, she said after a while. Your people build machines to help, but sometimes they can also make war. Alex nodded slowly. Yes, humans are complicated. We want peace, but sometimes we fight too. Lyra looked thoughtful. My people, the Viridians, value peace and order, but we also have rules that keep us apart from others. Contact with humans is new and sometimes difficult. Alex smiled gently. I know that feeling. Humans can be afraid of what they don't understand. They talked for hours, sharing stories about their homes, families, and dreams. Alex learned that the Viridians lived in large, beautiful cities with tall towers and shining gardens. Lyra told him about their strong sense of duty and honor, but not everything was easy between them. Sometimes, words got lost in translation. Lyra's expressions were sometimes hard for Alex to read, and some of Alex's jokes made Lyra confused. Once, Alex laughed and said, "You've got to have a little fun in life. It's not all work and rules." Lyra tilted her head. Fun. That sounds strange. In my culture, respect and control are very important. Alex realized how much they had to learn from each other. Despite these differences, a quiet friendship grew between them. They began to meet every day, sharing small moments and helping each other understand their worlds. One evening, as the space station's artificial sun set, Alex and Lyra stood by a large window, looking out at the stars. It is beautiful, Lyra said softly, but sometimes I feel like a stranger here. Alex put a hand on the glass beside her. Maybe none of us really belong here, but maybe that's why we need each other. Lyra looked at him, her eyes shining more brightly than before. I think you are right. In that moment, something changed. A seed of trust and hope was planted between the human and the alien. They were from different worlds, but they had found a way to connect. Little did Alex know, their growing friendship would soon face challenges none of them expected. Lyra's eyes slowly opened again as the pale morning light filled the small room. She looked around, confusion written all over her face. Mark was sitting nearby, watching her carefully. He wanted to help, but he didn't know much about her world or how she felt. Do you remember anything? Mark asked softly. Lyra shook her head. Her lips moved, but no clear words came out. Mark realized she didn't speak their language well. But she tried, and that was enough for him to try harder. Every day, Mark brought small gifts: water, food, a soft blanket. Lyra seemed to appreciate these simple things. Her body was weak, but her eyes showed strength. Mark wondered about her life before she came here. What kind of planet was she from? What had happened to her? One afternoon, while Mark worked on a broken rover nearby, Lyra moved slowly toward the window. She touched the glass gently and stared at the sky. Mark walked over and stood beside her. Where are you from? Mark asked quietly. Lyra looked at him with sad eyes and whispered, Viridian. Mark didn't know what that meant, but he wrote it down in his notebook. Maybe he could learn more later. That night, the camp was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. Mark sat beside Lyra's bed. She was restless, her breathing uneven. Suddenly, she reached out and took his hand. Mark felt a strange warmth spread through him. It was like a silent message. Thank you, or maybe something deeper. He squeezed her hand gently. Suddenly, Lyra's eyes widened, and she pointed to her chest, then to Mark. Mark didn't understand, but her meaning was clear. She wanted to tell him something important. Over the next few days, Mark worked hard to learn more about Lyra's language. He used pictures, sounds, and simple words. Slowly, they began to understand each other better. One day, Lyra showed Mark a small device she had hidden in her clothes. It was glowing faintly and seemed to respond to her touch. Mark examined it carefully. It looked like advanced technology, far beyond anything humans had. "What is this?" Mark asked. Lyra's eyes grew serious. She nodded toward the sky and whispered, "Help." Mark's mind raced. Whoever attacked her wanted this device. It was the key to why she was hurt and why enemies were hunting her. Protecting Lyra was no longer just about kindness. It was about survival. Despite the danger, Mark felt a growing connection with Lyra. She was not just a stranger or an alien. She was becoming something important in his life, a partner in a story he never expected to be part of. The stars outside shone bright, full of secrets, and Mark was ready to face them all for Lyra, and for whatever future they might share. The stars above the battlefield burned bright as Sergeant Mark Harris and the alien queen stood side by side. Their combined armies faced the looming threat of the Catheri, a ruthless enemy moving closer each day. Despite their differences, the soldier and the queen had formed a fragile alliance built on respect and trust. Harris looked at the queen, who stood tall and proud, her blue skin glowing faintly under the alien sky. "We fight together," he said firmly. "No more enemies here." The queen nodded, her eyes sharp but filled with a new understanding. "Your courage has inspired my warriors," she said. "They see that humans are more than what I once believed." The battle began with a roar. The Catheri forces advanced, their dark ships blotting out the stars. The combined armies of humans and Sel Neri met them head-on. Harris led the human soldiers, his voice steady as he gave orders. The queen commanded her warriors with fierce precision. The clash was brutal. Laser fire streaked through the sky, and the ground shook under the impact of heavy weapons. Harris moved swiftly through the battlefield, protecting his comrades and finding weak points in the enemy lines. The queen's warriors fought fiercely, their strength and skill unmatched. During a critical moment, a group of Catheri soldiers broke through the defenses and aimed for the queen. Harris saw the danger and charged forward, taking down the attackers before they could reach her. The queen caught his arm, her grip firm. "You saved me." Harris smiled. "We save each other." That moment sealed their bond. They fought not just as allies, but as partners who understood the true meaning of loyalty and trust. As the battle raged on, Harris noticed the queen's warriors watching him with new respect. The human soldier had earned their trust through his bravery and kindness. When the last Catheri ship was destroyed and the battlefield fell silent, the queen raised her voice so all could hear. "Today we proved that strength and honor are not limited to one species. Together, we are stronger." Harris stood beside her, tired but proud. "This is just the beginning. We will face more battles, but as long as we stand together, we will survive." The queen looked at Harris with a rare softness. "You have changed my world, soldier, and perhaps you have changed mine." Their alliance, once born from contempt and suspicion, had grown into something powerful, a symbol of hope for two very different peoples. As the stars continued to shine above, the future seemed brighter. The soldier and the queen had shown that even the greatest divides could be crossed when courage and respect led the way. The celebrations after the victory over the Catheri were brief. In the shadowed halls of the Neri hive, unrest stirred among the queen's advisors. Many saw the alliance with humans as a weakness, a betrayal of their proud history. Sergeant Mark Harris sensed the tension but remained focused on his duties. The alien queen, once cold and distant, now confided in him quietly. "Not all here trust your kind, Mark. Some believe our alliance threatens the hive." One night, as the hive slept, the traitors made their move. A group of elite Selneri warriors, led by a high-ranking advisor named Varnak, stormed the queen's chamber. Their goal: to overthrow the Queen and end the alliance. Harris was alerted just in time. He moved swiftly through the dark corridors, weapons in hand. When he arrived, the battle was already underway. The Queen fought fiercely, but Varnak's forces were many. Without hesitation, Harris joined the fight. His human training and quick thinking turned the tide. He shielded the Queen from a deadly strike and disabled several attackers. The Queen's voice rang out, commanding her loyal warriors. Together, they pushed back the traitors. In the chaos, Harris confronted Varnak. The advisor sneered, "You think you can protect her? Humans are nothing but pests." Harris stood tall. "We fight for what's right. That's something your kind doesn't always understand." Their fight was fierce but brief. Harris's skill and determination won, and Varnak was captured. After the battle, the Queen looked at Harris with deep gratitude. "You saved my life and my throne. Your loyalty is beyond question." Harris shook his head. "We both want peace. That's worth fighting for." The Queen addressed her people, declaring the traitors punished and reaffirming her commitment to the alliance. Slowly, the hive began to heal. For the first time, humans and Salnari saw themselves not as enemies, but as partners in a shared future. Harris knew the road ahead would be difficult, but with the Queen beside him, he was ready for whatever came next. The space station was tense. Outside, ships from humans and Viridians faced each other like warriors ready for battle. Inside, Alex and Lyra knew time was running out. Their secret plan to stop the war had been discovered. "We have to do something," Lyra said, her voice steady but filled with worry. "If the leaders start fighting, many will die." Alex looked at the flashing lights and alarms around them. "We need to reach the council chamber. If we can speak to the leaders, maybe we can stop this." Lyra nodded. "But it won't be easy. Guards are everywhere." Together, they moved quickly through the station's narrow corridors. Their steps were quiet, but every corner seemed dangerous. Suddenly, a group of Viridian guards appeared ahead. Alex grabbed Lyra's hand and pulled her behind a door. "Wait," he whispered. "I'll distract them. You run to the council chamber and tell the leaders." Lyra shook her head. "No, we must do this together." Alex smiled. "I trust you, but it's too dangerous." Before Lyra could answer, Alex stepped out into the corridor. "Hey," he called loudly. "Over here." The guards turned and rushed toward him. Alex ran fast, leading them away from Lyra. Lyra waited only a moment, then slipped through a side door and ran toward the council chamber. Inside, the leaders were already arguing. The Viridian commander was demanding humans leave Aurelia. The human captain was refusing. Lyra burst in, her voice strong. "Stop. This fight will destroy us all." The room fell silent. "I have proof," Lyra said, holding up a data chip. "The plan to start this war is from a few who want power, not peace." She looked at the leaders. "We must talk, listen, and find a way together." The Viridian commander frowned. "Why should we believe you?" Lyra's eyes shone. "Because I believe in a future where we all live together, and because I care for someone from the human side." She hesitated, then added quietly, "Alex." Back in the corridor, Alex was running from the guards. He was tired and scared, but he knew what he had to do. He made his way to the security room and used his engineering skills to send a station-wide message. The message showed the hidden plans and called for peace. As the leaders listened to Lyra, the message appeared on all screens across the station. The tension began to fade. The human and Viridian leaders looked at each other with new understanding. The Viridian commander spoke slowly. "Maybe we have been wrong." The human captain nodded. "Maybe there is a better way." Outside, the ships stopped moving toward each other. Lyra and Alex reunited, their faces filled with relief and hope. They had risked everything, and now there was a chance for peace. But they also knew this was only the beginning. The real fight for unity and trust was just starting. The days grew longer, but Mark's worry did not fade. Every moment felt heavy with the knowledge that danger was near. Yet, something deeper was forming between him and Lyra, a bond that neither could explain. Mark noticed small things about her that made him curious. When she touched the device, her skin seemed to glow softly. She watched the stars with a quiet sadness, as if she was missing something very dear. At night, she sometimes hummed a soft tune, strange but beautiful. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Mark sat beside her outside the camp. The air was cool, and the sky was a canvas of orange and purple. Lyra leaned slightly against him. It was the first time she let herself be close like that. Mark felt his heart beat faster. "I don't know much about your world, Lyra," he said softly, "but I want to understand." Lyra turned to him, her green eyes shining. She pointed to the stars, and then to her heart. Mark understood. Her world was out there somewhere, far away, but it lived inside her too. Suddenly, a sharp sound broke the quiet. The camp's alarm blared. Mark grabbed Lyra's hand. "They're here," he said. Enemy ships had arrived, small and fast. Mark's team scrambled to defend the camp, but Mark focused only on one thing: keeping Lyra safe. He carried her again, running toward a hidden cave they had found during a scouting trip. The alien's device pulsed with light, reacting to the danger. Inside the cave, Mark helped Lyra sit down. She looked exhausted, but her eyes searched his for hope. He promised silently, "I won't let anything happen to you." As the enemy approached, Mark realized this was more than a fight for survival. It was a fight for trust, between two very different beings. He thought about his own people's history, wars, mistakes, and sometimes fear of the unknown. But with Lyra, he felt something new: hope. The alien queen's strength surprised him. Lyra, though injured, showed courage beyond her years. When she spoke quietly about her people, Mark listened closely. She said they were once strong, proud, and wise, but something had torn them apart. Mark wondered if humans and aliens were not so different after all. Both had lost things, both had reasons to fight, and both could find new reasons to live. That night, as the stars twinkled above, Mark and Lyra shared stories without words. A gentle breeze carried their unspoken promises. Mark felt something growing inside him, a feeling he could not name, but knew was powerful. He didn't know the future yet. He only knew that Lyra, the alien woman he saved, was no longer just a stranger. She was becoming his family.